Is it just me, or does it feel like Sony are just like Sony management just feels like the village idiots. I'm just telling you, they just never learn, do they? Anyway, I'm reading from pushsquare.com, and it's about the Concord fiasco and the huge flop that was Concord that we all know about. Was it enough for Sony? They're like, no, we're gonna double down on exploring live service games. But Sony's problem as far as live service games is what studios do they have on who have expertise in live studios game? I mean, live studios games. I don't know why I keep saying that in live service games. I don't. I can't think of any studio that they have that has expertise in live service games. Bungie, yeah, okay, but the thing is, their next game, no one knows if it's going to be successful or not because just like with Helldivers 2, it's gonna have to stand out. It can't be as generic as Concord was. That's the thing, and if Bungie's game ends up being that, and also what's that other live service game that's also in development? The two upcoming live service games, right? The one from Bungie and um, I think one of them was called Fair Games or something. And if them two fail, I'll tell you something now. I mean, Sony's gonna have no choice but to put these live service games to bed. They're gonna have to. Anyway, I'm gonna get into the article now. Sorry about again sidetracked. Of all the wild stories that crossed our desk in 2024, Concord's chaotic launch and subsequent removal from history after just 2 weeks stand out. We may never know how much money Firewalk Studios and Sony ultimately sunk into the project. Certainly far too much. I thought it was common knowledge of the fact that it was between 200 to 400 million, on which they sunk in, and obviously it took 8 years, and there was this case of toxic positivity of the fact that you cannot go out there saying like this game's just gonna bomb, which it ultimately did, and it was the brainchild of Herman Holst. Why he still has a job there, I'll never know. Still, the days of a first party multiplayer release, expecting an inbuilt audience from the jump, should be firmly behind us. Despite it all, Sony remains committed to what to what it does. It says to what it does, but it should say to what it does. So that's obviously a typo. Admittedly, looks like the future of gaming, but promises not to forget its more traditional single player fans along the way. Look, they've already said they're not going to forget their more traditional single player games. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. The issue is how are you going to learn your lesson from the Concord fiasco? And also, because Helldivers 2 obviously stood out and it was a really good multiplayer game, and I suppose you could say live service game as well. These two games coming out, like I said earlier, how are you gonna have them stand out? Because they're gonna have to obviously offer something different to capture gamers' attention, and I don't think Sony's gonna be capable of doing that. In an interview with Famitsu, co-CEO Herman Hulse addressed the room, if not the elephant, conspicuously in it. Concord's implosion. The game business is constantly changing due to various factors, including technological advances, new genres, and ways of playing. Look, I don't know why he talks about technological advances. The technology was clearly not the issue. The issue clearly was the fact that it was just not a good game by all accounts. I mean, I mean the beta proved it, and then when it came out, of the fact that no one wanted, pretty much very few played it. I think that just told you everything. And when I saw it on State of Play, to be honest, it felt like a dollar store in Guardians of the Galaxy. To be honest, it was like that trailer was. It was like, what the hell's this? Anyway, however, one thing that remains constant is people's desire for great entertainment, experiences, and attention games continues to grow. No firm is immune to the whim of the industry, and Hulse continues, admitting that the service space is unforgiving. Well, the thing is, honestly, to be honest, Sony should have learnt their lesson like Sega did, because Sega did the smart thing, and when they saw that their live service game wasn't working, they just cut bait. They just cut bait before it even came out, and they said, "You know what? Let's just cancel it. Let's just cancel it." Because the thing is, because they knew the fact that Sega knew that their live service game wasn't going to fare any better, and they would most likely have to end up spending more money trying to salvage something which was not going to be salvageable. So it just wasn't worth it. And but the thing is, Herman Hulse is just like a clown. I don't know. He clearly does not have the feet to fill the shoes. Let's say, as far as a co-CEO, I don't know how he still has his job. It's just hilarious. However, this also created competition. Like many companies in the industry, we have to make changes to our business to solidify a more sustainable operating base. Going forward, we will continue to focus on developing live service titles along with the story-driven single-player titles that our players want. We are learning a lot as as we establish the ability to develop high-quality live service titles within SIE. Helldivers 2 attracted many players through um, continuous content and provision and achieved results that support the potential live service titles. But the thing is, and like I said again, you gotta offer something different and appealing to to get gamers' attention, because that's the whole point. You can't just be a generic live service title and then just hope for the best, because that clearly is not gonna work. And he obviously just doesn't understand it. Um. Anyway. Yeah. So in my opinion, I mean, it's just that if anything, Sony's just gonna get worse. And I'm starting to think with their last two live service games. While I said earlier they might not have a choice but to stop, Herman Hulse might be the only one who just says no. Let's just keep carrying on and let's hope for the best. But the thing is, hopefully, Sony's board in Japan, and hopefully they stand in and just say that's it, enough, because it seems to me they are the only ones that are going to be capable of doing something and said that's it. This needs to stop because you're wasting too much money. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.